Hello friends, today we will be talking about Azure Virtual Machines. Virtual machine is a mechanism by which you can create multiple computer systems on the same hardware. You may have a very powerful hardware with powerful CPUs, multiple CPUs, lot of memory. So you can set up multiple computer systems on the same hardware so that you get better return on your money. We can do set up Azure virtual machines on Azure cloud environment. Either we can set up a individual virtual machine or we can set up a set of virtual machines which may be managed by a load balancer. So this load balancer will make sure that if a virtual machine is down, traffic goes to other virtual machines. Traffic is evenly distributed between this virtual machine. When we need virtual machine, we need virtual machine when we want to have our own operating system. We want to have our control over operating system. We want to run our apps. We want to configure the virtual machine to our needs. We want to have control over the configuration. So in Azure environment, we can set up virtual machines. We don't have to buy hardware. We can rent the virtual machines, and it keeps the cost also down. We are just paying for the virtual machines. We are not paying for the software, other things. When we set up virtual machines, either we can set up a single virtual machine, or there may be a scenario where we set up a cluster of virtual machines. So we have to make sure that these virtual machines are configured similarly. There is a load balancer to set the traffic. We have to make sure that we are updating the software. We have to make sure we are applying the security patches. So here comes virtual machine scale sets. Virtual machine scale sets allows us to manage multiple virtual machines in very easy way. It makes sure that all these virtual machines are configured similarly. It makes sure when the traffic is up, virtual machines are up, right number of virtual machines are up to handle the traffic. Then comes about availability, scalability. There are two mechanisms to maintain the availability. One is update domain. You can tie your virtual machines to a domain. So that way, when you are updating virtual machines, only virtual machines in that domain are down, while virtual machines in another domain are up. Another way of is a fault domain. In fault domain, you tie your virtual machines to a network switch or power switch, and you make sure that when you are upgrading virtual machines, only to a only virtual machines tied to a power switch are down, where other virtual machines are up. They are servicing the clients. When to use virtual machines? You can use virtual machines for development and testing your applications. You can use virtual machine when you want to have total control over your operating system. You want to configure your application in a configuration defined by you. You want to have total control over the configuration. You want to have total control over the environment. Third scenario is you want to set up some data centers. Like data centers take a lot of hard disk, and it requires a lot of hardware. So you can set up your data centers on virtual machines in Azure environment. And the fourth scenario is your disaster recovery mechanism. So when you are setting up disaster recovery mechanism, suppose your data center is located in some location and some disaster happened. So in Azure, you can make sure that your virtual machines are located in some other geolocation, so that when your real data center is hit, you can bring it up this virtual data center and make sure your business is up. We will use Azure command line to create a virtual machine. We can take the script and we can run on the PowerShell command to create a virtual machine. It will create a virtual machine with the name my virtual machine. So let's start our PowerShell Azure PowerShell command. You need a GitHub account or Microsoft account to log into the sandbox, and now I'm running. I copied the command to create the virtual machine. Now I'm running the command and virtual machine is created. Now I'm configuring an injects on this virtual machine. I can use custom extension script to run the bash command on my sandbox. I am configuring an injects and